Hello, my friends. It's Nick. It's the ASMR nerd. And tonight, I'm gonna drink some beer. We're gonna have a beer tasting video. It's been quite a while since I've done one of these, and I just felt like it was time for another one. I feel like I feel like I need this. I need one of these right now. But hopefully, you want one of these as well, and hopefully, you'll find it relaxing. I've got three interesting looking craft beers here, each with a unique twist, some interesting flavor combinations going on, some very pretty art on the cans. Each of these is from a local ish brewery, at least from my part of the world, British Columbia, Canada. And, every once in a while I like to do one of these videos where I explore some of what the amazing brewing scene is doing around here. We are, of course, blessed with an abundance of craft breweries in this part of the world doing all kinds of fascinating and experimental stuff. They never seem to run out of ideas. And so I never run out of new, interesting craft beers to try. So I hope you enjoy these selections here. Today, I will certainly enjoy cracking them open, getting the fizzy pour sounds going on for you, and then tasting them and sharing my thoughts on the different flavor combinations that we've got here. You might also notice that you can see the room here. This is actually my first time recording in this new space, in this new house that I moved into a month or two ago, without the green screen. So this is this is the room. You can see the wall. There's nothing to see back here yet. Obviously, this is just a bare wall in a mostly empty room. There is going to be cool stuff back here. I promise. I've got all kinds of fun ideas. There's going to be stuff down here and stuff up on the wall. It's going to be great. But I've had to sort of prioritize other stuff in other parts of the house, higher priority areas. But soonish, I think, I'll be able to get to working on this space and turn it into a really awesome recording and streaming studio that I hope you will enjoy as well. But I was getting tired of using the green screen here. I just wanted to do a video without it. And there's another reason why I wanted to remove the green screen for this video, and that is because this beautiful graphic tee from this video's sponsor, Into the AM, doesn't play nice with the green screen. It doesn't show up very well. But I wanted to show it off to you so that you could see the awesome, fresh graphic tees that Into the AM is putting out. You know them, you love them. Into the AM is famous for their beautiful, exclusively licensed, ultra comfortable, nicely fitted, easy to care for graphic tees. And right now, Into the AM has a 60% off site-wide sale, up to 60% off site-wide. But that does mean that you can get some sweet, super popular graphic tees, some of their best sellers, for like $10. These are fantastic tees. They're worth well more than that. They are, like I said, some of the most comfortable tees I've ever worn. They are high quality. You can throw them in the wash, throw them in the dryer again and again. They look fantastic. They fit fantastic. They've also got all kinds of other stuff going on over there. You might know they recently launched their denim line. I've been, partnering with Into the AM for a very long time. They've launched a lot of new lines in my time with them. I try out all their different stuff. They have yet to miss. Into the AM always hits, and their denim is no exception. Bar none, these are the most comfortable jeans I've ever worn. they have quickly become my favorite jeans that I own. Imagine the comfort of wearing sweats or joggers, but you're wearing jeans and they look fantastic. You can dress them up, you can dress them down, you can wear them around the house, you can wear them out on the town. They're fantastic. Easily my favorite jeans I've ever owned. And all their other stuff as well. They got fantastic button up shirts, they got Henleys, they got jackets, they've got boxers. Go check it out. Seriously. If you've never been to Into the AM, now's your time to check it out. So find some of their beautiful graphic tees. They've got new designs every month. If you have been to into the AM, go check it out anyway. Because like I said, they're getting new stuff in all the time. This is the perfect opportunity to save big, up to 60% on Into the AM's entire collection, and you get to save an additional 10% on top of the already discounted sale prices. The discount stack if you use that link down below at the top of the video description. You'll save 10% off your entire order and whatever savings you get through the sale. And you will be supporting this channel right here, helping me continue to make the kinds of content that I enjoy making the most, as does Into the AM with their incredible support. So, once again, check out the link down below at the top of the video description or pinned in the top comment. Into the AM's up to 60% off site-wide sale and an additional 10% off using that link. Big thanks to Into the AM for sponsoring today's video. All right, so with that said, it's almost time to dive into the beers, but I do have one more thing to say before we do, and that is a disclaimer, which is that I always like to be a good role model when I'm on camera, when I'm on stream, whatever I'm doing. And so I think it's really important to point out that there is no safe amount of alcohol to consume. This is something that we have come to learn more about as research has continued. There's no safe amount of alcohol. There's always a risk associated with drinking alcohol. It is a poison. So when you are drinking alcohol, if you choose to do so, please drink in moderation, drink responsibly, and be an informed consumer of alcohol. Always stay within your limits. Try to minimize the alcohol that you consume and be kind to yourself. Be good to yourself. All right. Tonight's first beer of the three I have here, I'm going to start with the lightest that I have. And it's this one right here. This mango sticky rice beer from Buoy in collaboration with Dumpling Drop. Buoy Brewing is a local brew pub here in Victoria, British Columbia. It is the most local of the three beers that I'm trying tonight. And Dumpling Drop is similarly a local restaurant known for their dumplings, among other things. But this mango sticky rice lager was inspired by Dumpling Drop's menu. It says right here, a DH rice lager. I don't know what the DH part means. With mango, inspired by one of our low-key favorite menu items from Dumpling Drop. This beer combines the subtle coconut aroma of Sabro hops with a crisp, dry finish and a kiss of juicy mango, which sounds lovely to me. So a rice lager would be a lager-style beer brewed with the addition of rice. So not just barley malts, but also rice, which confers a unique flavor, a unique mouthfeel. And the hop choices have been designed to evoke the flavors of coconut and mango. Hops come in many different varieties, and they have a whole spectrum of different flavors, ranging from earthy and green and dank to dry and bitter to very fruity and lush and tropical. So, if I look at the ingredients list here, there is no coconut, there is no mango. It is simply water, local malted barley, rice, hops, and yeast. So all those additional flavors, the fruity mango, the coconut, are from the specific selection of hop varietals in this beer. That should be really interesting. The can itself is quite beautiful. They've got a really lovely piece of art here, which appears to be a snake in a mango tree, winding its way around several different mangoes on a branch, I guess. But it's a pretty neat design. It's very pretty. It's not super strong, 4.6%, which is slightly on the low side in terms of alcohol content. And as a lager, it should be a light, bright, crisp kind of beer. So let's open it up and try it out. I've never had a sticky rice mango lager before, that's for sure. I've had a rice beer before. I don't even remember if it was a lager. But this is a pretty unique combination of things. It smells really good. You can smell that hoppiness, that fruitiness of the hops right off the bat. And I will be pouring into my tulip glass tonight, which is designed to funnel the aroma up into your nostrils, I guess, as you pour. It also makes a really nice sound for a pour. Let's pour it out. So it pours this very light, very clear, bright gold, almost like a champagne color, but quite pale, quite pale. I'm just doing partial pours here because I've got 3 cans and I'm not going to be drinking heavily tonight. I'm drinking responsibly. Yeah, it smells really lovely. That delicate fruitiness, and just this brilliant clarity. Brilliant clarity. A little bit of fizz on top, a little bit of foam, but it rapidly dissipated. So no, heavy foam on top. Let's try it out. Cheers. What a lovely flavor combination. The addition of the rice gives it a certain sweetness. And the hop choice really complements that well. It's subtle. It's not a strong, hit you over the head kind of beer. It's a very crisp finish, not bitter at all, really pleasant, super sessionable. You could drink a lot of this if you wanted. This would be a fantastic, fantastic hot summer day on a patio sipping kind of beer. And a nice, clean mouthfeel as well. it's subtle, but it's really nice. It's very tastefully done. Like I said, it doesn't, punch you in the face with strong hops or anything. It doesn't weigh you down with, really dark malts or anything like that. It's just bright and crisp and clean with a pleasant sweetness and a different combination of flavors that I've never had before. But really, really nice. Really thoughtfully combined set of flavors, Sometimes you try beers that are interesting, but the flavors don't really gel together, if that makes sense. They don't harmonize. You can taste individual elements, but oftentimes one will be overbearing, sort of drown out the others, or it will be several flavors which are interesting individually but don't really combine well. But this, like I said, really well considered and harmonious. And it doesn't taste like mango sticky rice. Like, it tastes like its own thing. It tastes like a lager beer, with a faint aura of a mango fruitiness. But the addition of rice does alter the flavor profile, and I think the Sabro hops they've chosen really complements that well. They have a fantastic summer sipping beer. In fact, all the beers I've chosen here would probably be good summer sipping beers. It is not summer. If you're watching this when I release it, you know that. But if you're watching in the future, it's worth pointing out that it's March right now. And I found it interesting when I went to the liquor store to look for beers for this video, just how many fruity beers there were. It was so many fruit adjacent kind of beers, whether they were sours, whether they were like a fruit lager like this, but just lots and lots of fruity beers, which is fine by me. I enjoy a nice fruity beer, but that's something that I usually associate with the summer. And so I just thought it was interesting to see so many fruit beers at this time of year. But the spring is I guess, sort of an odd time for beers in that, there are traditional kinds of beers that go with summer and fall and winter, but maybe not so much the springtime. So maybe we're just getting an early start on summer. I don't know. That was lovely. That was a delightful, light, and pleasant start to our tastings here. All right, now if I was being a true beer snob, I would use a fresh glass for the next pour, but I didn't want to dirty another one, so I'm just going to use the same glass. That first beer, honestly, was not strong enough to really affect the flavor of the next one, which I suspect will handily drown out any residual from the first one. So the second beer here is in this heckin' bright can. This is the Neon Nectar Hazy IPA from Wild Eye Brewing. And they have a really neat can design here and a beautiful logo. I just love their logo so much. Check it out. It's this incredible winged cyclopean bird beast. Makes me think of some kind of like biblically accurate angel or something, It's a really cool design. But the Neon Nectar is an appropriate name, or it's an appropriate can for a beer of this name, I guess, because this thing is heckin' bright and really pretty fun. Look at the designs. Got this crazy geometric pattern wrapping around here. And of course, the beautiful Wild Eye logo. But it's got kind of almost, it's like cyberpunk art deco or something. You know what I mean? Like it has some of that art deco geometry to it, but then it's almost like cyberpunk because it's like circuitry and it's neon. I just love that aesthetic. It's so fun. And hopefully the beer will be fun too. Wild Eye Brewing is located in North Vancouver, British Columbia. So a little further away from me, but still within our beer neighborhood, so to speak. This is a hazy IPA. So a hazy IPA will have a big heaping helping of hops like other styles of IPA, but it tends to have a softer flavor, less hop bitterness, less sharp hop flavor, and typically softer, more lush, fruity or floral component to the hops. And so, for that reason, I often recommend hazy IPAs to people who want to try an IPA, which stands for India Pale Ale, by the way, in case anyone was not aware. People hear about IPAs. They are often critically acclaimed kinds of beers, often sort of, hipster favorites. But many times people don't like the bitterness of hops. And so for those people, I recommend the hazy because the hazies have, like I said, that they just take that edge off of the hop bitterness and the hop sharpness. But you still get a lot of those lush, fruity, tropical flavors coming through. Also, the haziness tends to confer a nice, soft, silky, luscious mouthfeel. And so you get this really pleasing beer, both in the feel, flavor, the aroma. You get a lot of that hop richness and flavor without the extreme bitterness. So what do they have to say about this one? It says here, a year's worth of experimental IPAs lit a juicy path for us to follow, helping us develop the neon nectar, a balm of tropical tangerine, pineapple, and mango, both light and creamy. On a 1 to 10 scale of neon color, this hazy IPA is at least a bucket of fruit. Okay, at least a bucket of fruit. Brewed with crystal clear and North Shore water, malted barley, flaked wheat, oats, hops, and London fog yeast. So the wheat and the oats are what confer the haziness and the smooth mouthfeel. It's also unfiltered, which of course will contribute to the haziness. London fog yeast, I've never heard of this before. I don't know what makes it a London fog yeast, but perhaps it's a type of yeast used often for hazies. I don't know. That's new to me. Hops used, Citra and El Dorado. So again, we talked about hop varietals with the last one. The Sabro brought that mango and coconut flavor there. Here, the Citra is going to bring a bright citrus flavor, probably where that tangerine aspect here comes from. And the El Dorado, I can't off the top of my head tell you what the El Dorado flavor profile is, but combined with the Citra, they're saying it's very fruity, very tropical. It has been double dry hopped, so it is the dry hopping that tends to curb the sharpness of the hop flavor and result in that softer flavor profile for the hazy. And the double dry hopping just means we're going to get a lot of that hop flavor. 6.8% ABV, hop flavor high, hop bitterness low, it says here. All right, what a cool can. I just really love this design. I think it's really neat. Love the color choices, love the pattern. All right, let's try it out. Very juicy. Definitely getting those tropical citrus notes right off the top. Okay, let's pour it out. This time we'll start in this here. And don't worry, these aren't going to go to waste. I have, things I can put on top that seal them. They'll go in the fridge. I'll finish them over the next day or two. I'm not going to waste a good half a beer. But this beer, as you might have heard, is much smoother, much thicker, more viscous. And so we get quite a lot more foam on the top. Yeah, delightful. Oh, that smells so good. It's got this really fun, bubbly head. They call it the foam, the head, with a lot of lacing left on the sides. You see when you tip it like that, it leaves this very slow to recede residual. It is what they call a rocky head with a fine matrix of small bubbles and then these bigger bubbles interspersed throughout. I've heard that this is a mark of a quality beer, a good beer. I don't know why that is. I'm not sure about the physics behind it or chemistry behind it, but nonetheless, this beer appears to fit the bill. And it is slowly receding. It is slowly receding. The beer itself pours this thick, hazy, juicy kind of color. It looks like a glass of fruit juice, doesn't it? Which is appropriate because it sure smells juicy. And again, there's no actual fruit in here. All those flavor elements and scent elements are conferred by those hop choices, the organic elements or organic molecules in the hops. Let's try it out. Cheers. That is a silky smooth mouthfeel and the super, super low hop bitterness. A real contrast to the previous one, which was bright and crisp and clean. This one is silky and soft, creamy. I think they called it on the can. It really is creamy, like very much so. The flavor is rich and juicy, but still mellow. It's not aggressive, hop attack, but there is a lot of flavor there. But it's very pleasant. They called out what? I think tangerine, pineapple, and mango, maybe. I would say it's less, I'm getting less of the citrus. Like sometimes you try one of these and it's a lot of citrus, orange, or grapefruit. Grapefruit I often taste in the hop complement, but this one leans towards the sweeter. It's a little more of that pineapple, a little more of that mango. I think this would be a fantastic beer for someone who wants to experience the fullness of the hop flavor of an IPA without the extreme bitterness of the hop flavor of an IPA. To be clear, it is still bitter. You know, there is still bitterness there. You're not going to have a heavily hopped beer with zero bitterness, but it's a lot less than if you had, say, a Northwest style IPA or a fresh hopped IPA. And some may find the smooth mouthfeel to be a little bit more appealing. I don't know. It is very pleasant. It is, like I said, very creamy, very rich. They've packed a lot of flavor into this brew. Lovely, lovely, really nice. And this is a bit of a stronger beer at 6.8%. Not knock you on your butt strong, but a little stronger than your typical, Coors or whatever, which is normally 5%, I think. Yeah, it's a lovely hazy. It's a really nice one. And I'm just starting to feel the alcohol slightly. But our last beer is about the same strength as this. So I'm not going crazy. We're not doing any 10%ers or anything tonight. It's not what it's about. I want to say there's a little bit of coconuttiness going on with this one as well. But despite playing in similar, flavor neighborhoods, the two beers are quite different, the first one and the second one, because of the concentration of hopness going on here, just the amount of flavor, and then of course the smoothness, the creaminess, and that mouth feel, very different than that bright, crisp, clean lager. And so, yeah, really nice. All right. That one did leave a bit more of a mess on the glass. Would it be a crime to just pour straight into this one for our third? Our third beer is quite different than either of the first two. Our third beer is the Thornless Blackberry Porter from Cannery Brewing. Blackberry Porter. This is a very interesting combination of flavors because porters are a dark, rich, roasty, toasty kind of beer. And you often see those kinds of flavors complemented by or evoking chocolate, coffee, vanilla, caramel, these sorts of flavors, kind of desserty, kind of heavier end of the flavor spectrum sort of flavors. Blackberry, in contrast, is a very bright, fruity flavor, which is more typically found paired with pale ales or lagers or sours. Blackberry sour is something you often find in this part of the world in the late summer, sort of seasonally. There's also a really, really good blackberry IPA that Aerosmith Brewing does that I really love. Look for it each summer. Yeah, but a blackberry porter, that's a new one to me. Never tried that before. So it'll be interesting to see how the sweetness and fruitiness of the blackberry, pardon me, complements or doesn't complement. We'll find out. That darker, heavier porter with those roasty notes, those chocolates and coffee or toffee kind of flavors. Cannery Brewing is another brewery from British Columbia. I believe they are located in Penticton, I think. Yeah, Penticton, British Columbia, which is in the interior of the province, a warm, dry region known as the Okanagan. Well, warm in the summertime, hot in the summertime, cold in the winter. A interior continental climate, as they call it. But it's got this beautiful, beautiful can of this lovely art, this kind of old school imagery. We've got what? An old pickup truck. Looks like maybe the pickup truck is overgrown with blackberry bushes, maybe. There's a fellow down here, and a bird, and a lady walking up a garden path in the middle, and a cute little cottage over here, and a couple someone's picking blackberries off to this side. And of course, the color of the label is sort of a blackberry color. Really beautifully done. A lovely piece of art. And a really sort of charming vibe. Blackberries grow all over this region. They're not native. They're an invasive species, Himalayan blackberries, but they have naturalized. We're not getting rid of them. They are very tenacious. And, I like going and picking blackberries in the late summer. That is something I grew up doing. And so, blackberries are here to stay, but I'm not too mad about it. I guess the thornless kind of suggests that it's probably a nice sort of soft flavor profile. A porter is typically not heavily hopped, so we'll see. But I bet you this is much more on the malty and sweet side of things, rather than the hoppier side of things like the previous beer. It says here, blackberries and roasted dark malts are combined to create a balanced sweetness in this robust porter. Nothing more than that. Interesting. 40 IBUs, so, that's middling. It's not bitter. IBUs are a measure of bitterness. 6% ABV. Yeah, really nothing more than that to be said based on the can. So, but I really love this art. It's super cool. Really pretty. All right, let's try this out. Blackberry right off the bat. The aroma is pretty subdued. I'm not getting a whole lot of dark, roasty, malty flavor or aroma right off the bat. Just actually blackberry. Just a subtle blackberry. All right, we're going to do beer crimes, and I'm just going to pour it straight into into what we had previously here, which might alter the flavor ever so slightly, but hopefully not by much. All right, let's do it. None of these are really fizzy beers. Sometimes you can really hear the fizz as the foam dissipates, but well, this one is frothing, it's foaming. You can probably hear that. I don't have my earbuds in, so I don't know exactly what you're hearing. Usually I like to monitor, but it's tough to have the cable in the way when I'm doing a bunch of pouring and stuff, so. But it pours a deep, deep brown. Looks almost black on camera, doesn't it? But it's a deep brown. And we get a healthy head on top of nice, frothy, off-white foam. Mostly fine, small bubbles. And now that it's poured, when I sniff, it definitely does have some of that toasty, roasty maltiness going on, a little bit of that kind of coffee undertone, but it's really actually mostly the blackberry that I get off the top. It smells juicy and sweet, juicy and sweet. It makes me think of like when you put fruit in chocolate, that kind of, pairing, which, can be delicious. So it doesn't smell tangy. It certainly doesn't smell hoppy. There's no hops to be smelled at all. No, it's sweet, rich and sweet with a fruity top note. Honestly, it smells really, really good. Let's try it out. Beer number 3. Cheers, friends. Yeah. Yeah, that's good. Yeah, it's a very rich, a very creamy mouthfeel once again. A really nicely blended sweetness. I was, earlier talking about how sometimes you get beers with 2 different flavors that just don't really harmonize. They're great on their own, but they don't mesh. But this harmonizes a lot better than I would have given it credit for. I was honestly a little bit skeptical about this combo, but it's really good. I like it. I like it a lot. Consider me a convert. I guess blackberry doesn't have to pair with, bright or light or sour beers, after all. Yeah, very yummy, and they've hit just the right balance of the different components of this beer, so as to be, harmonious. That's I think the best word for it. It's neither aspect of the flavor is outshining the other. They intertwine very nicely together, and I do think that the closest similarity I can come up with is something like a delicious dark chocolate with, fruit in it. And I wouldn't say it's something you would have like as a regular easy drinking beer, like an everyday kind of beer, but as a treat or a dessert beer, something a little bit different, it's really quite delightful. Not boozy at all. You can't taste the alcohol in the slightest. That nice smooth mouth feel, but not too heavy. Not too heavy. Just right. Just right for a porter, honestly. And the blackberry is just it. And I guess it's real blackberry. I didn't actually look to see what the ingredients say. But if they say anything, but they don't even list them. Yeah, it doesn't say. But I guess it's real blackberry, you know? But it really does suffuse the whole experience. It's very aromatic. Was just running out of space on my memory card there, so I had to do a quick cut. Maybe didn't even notice, but anyway, if you were wondering, that's what happened there. Unfortunate, because we have nearly reached the end of this video. It would have been nice to not have to deal with the cut, but that's all right. Doesn't really matter. Well, I would say every one of these beers has been a hit. I have enjoyed each of them. I would happily consume the entire can of each of them. And I think each one was unique enough to warrant its place in this video. Of the three, if I had to pick a favorite, I think it's this one. I think it's this one I'm drinking right now. The Thornless Blackberry Porter from Cannery Brewing. If only because it's the most unique, I think. The sticky rice, the mango sticky rice, was interesting and very tasty, but pretty subdued. You get that rice element that's a little different. The mango was quite mild, very tasty, but not quite as bold as the others, which is fine if that's what you want. But the Neon Nectar is a delicious hazy IPA, but I've had many hazy IPAs, many good ones as well, and I would say it is, a standout amongst them. But as a style, it is a common style that you see a lot of, and that I've had many of. The Blackberry Porter is not like anything I've really had before. I've certainly had porters, and I've had blackberry ales, but I've never had a blackberry porter. And so that makes this fairly unique and quite interesting to me, and a very memorable beer. I think it's one I'll be thinking about in the future. I might seek it out again because it is quite different. It's a nice alternative if you want something fruity, but also a little darker. And that, my friends, brings us to the end of this video. I tried to select 3 interesting beers to share. I think I succeeded, but you can let me know down in the comments if if you thought these were, sufficiently interesting. Which of these three flavors would you be most interested in trying? Which do you think would be your favorite based on your particular beer preferences? I'd be interested to know. What interesting beers have you had recently? Maybe you've tried something really unique. I'd love to hear about that down in the comments as well. Once again, a big thank you to this video's sponsor, Into the AM, for being super chill and just being really cool about sponsoring this channel for so long. And of course, big thanks to you as well for watching. I hope you enjoyed the sights and sounds of this beer tasting, and I look very forward to having you back here again next time. Bye for now, my friends. And of course, as much as I love a good beer, I love even more this channel's amazing supporters, who you can see right here. Look at all these beautiful names of amazing folks who help support the kind of content that I create here, the kind of content that I love making the most, and that you hopefully enjoy watching and listening to the most as well. I cannot thank these individuals enough. If you have ever derived any relaxation or enjoyment from my content here and would like to support its continued creation, well, there's some links down below. If you would like to check them out, you are welcome to do so. There you will find 3 different tiers, each one with a handful of perks. At the highest tier, the Fusroda tier, those amazing folks get their names read in a special spoken shout out in every single one of my videos. And you are about to hear those names right now, starting with Joe, Alien Test Subject X59ZY, aka Captain Vanquisher, Ragnar Ragnarsson, Eisregen Haha, Brucey B3D Buchner, Drummer Britt, Drew Kapnick, Jake Luffney, and last but never least, Odin's son. Thank you so much to our incredible supporters. I deeply appreciate their kindness and their generosity. Once again, if you were interested in joining their ranks, please check out those links down below in the video description. I'm sure you can find a tier that is right for you. Thanks again, amazing supporters.